العلم أشراف مطلوب وطالبه لله أكرام من يمشي على قدم. العلم نور مبين يستضيء به أهل السعادات والجهال في الظلم.
طيب طيب ولا يعتبر في وجوبهم كانوا طيب. So that is also connected to the mas'ala that we talked about earlier on. The mas'ala that we connected. So if we say it is connected to the ayn of the mal, that means you have to pay, if you're connected to the actual mal, you have to pay every amount as it is. 5,000, every year you have to pay 5,000. Every year you have to pay how much? 5,000. Because Ali owed you how much? 5,000. But if we say it's connected to the dhimma only, or it's connected to the dhimma and the wealth is connected to it somehow, to the actual wealth, then I only have to pay after the zakah whatever is left every year. Whatever is left every year. طيب. طيب. مثلا, there's an example, I think Muhammad, it was before you came. There's an example. Let's say Muhammad owes me £5,000. He owes me how much? £5,000. We said that the author said that you have to pay zakat on that 5,000 every single year that he has it. So let's say he comes back to me with zakat after 3 years. The question is, I understand that I have to pay zakah, but how much do I have to pay zakah on? The very first year is clear. It's what? £5,000. طيب. The second year, how much am I going to pay zakah? Because if we say it's £5,000, the wealth is obviously going to decrease. مثلا, let's say now, forget about debt. Let's say now I have £5,000. £5,000 today I have to pay zakah. How much do I have to pay? £125. I pay £125. Yeah, Abdillah, take it. How much do I have left? The year starts again now, sah? If I get to next year, the same time, how much have I got? And I haven't earned any money and I haven't given away any money. كذا يعني على طول. I've still got my how much? 4,875 pounds, صح? طيب. How much do I have to pay zakat on? 2.5% of what? Of 5,000 that I had a year ago, or? Excellent. Jade, 4,875. طيب. Then I pay zakah. How much do I have to pay? How much is that? Where's the mathematician? 115ish. طيب. I give 115. Let's say I'm left with 4,700. Next year, what do I pay zakah? 4,700, because that's all I have left. طيب, would that be the case with the debt? فهمتم? That is the مسألة that we talked about earlier on. بارك الله فيكم. وتجب زكاة في لا وهذا ولا يعتبر في وجوبها إمكان الأداء ولا بقاء المال. Two مسألة here he's going to talk about. Two مسائل. First مسألة ولا يعتبر, and is not taken into consideration في وجوبها, for the obligation of zakah, إمكان الأداء. There's nothing that, يعني, the fact that you can pay it or you can't pay it is not connected to your zakah. So let's say مثلا, let's say I have £10,000. Today completes a year. This time last year, I had £10,000. Today, I have what? Exactly the same amount, £10,000. Zakat is wajib upon me, regardless of whether I'm not able to pay for whatever reason. Maybe my wealth is somewhere in the other side of the world, and I don't have, and there's no way I can put it into a bank account, and there's no way I can get it as hard cash, and there's no exchange currencies or anything like that. Therefore, what do? It's still wajib upon me. So, يعني في وجوب إمكان الأداء, the fact that I'm not able to take it into consideration today is not taken. The fact that I can't pay it today doesn't have any connection to the ruling of zakat being wajib. Is that understood? طيب. نعم. طيب. Then ولا بقاء المال. Also, the fact that the mal is not with me. The fact that I don't have the mal on me and I've spent it, okay, it doesn't have any connection to whether I pay zakat or not. Let's say I have £10,000. Let's say I have what? £10,000. Zakat is wajib upon me now. Today, £10,000. Then I haven't paid zakat. I haven't paid it yet. But it's wajib upon me from today. Then tomorrow I go and buy a brand new car which is £9,000. Or £8,000. How much have I got left? £2,000. Do I pay zakat on the £10,000 that I had yesterday or the £2,000 that I have today? The £2,000. Who says otherwise? The £10,000. ليش؟ ثبت استقر or ثبت الوجوب. The wujub was established. Therefore, I pay what? 10,000. Hence he says ولا بقاء المال. أي هذا لا يعتبر. يعني إذا لم يبقى معك المال يعني ما لنا دخل. So the fact that you spent it or you haven't spent it, nothing to do with us. As long as it becomes wajib upon you, what? You still have to pay it. طيب. لكن there's another مسألة. What if the £10,000 is stolen from you? You no longer have the money. It was wajib yesterday. Somehow it mysteriously disappears today. You don't have the money. Someone steals it. طيب. You have no money now. Do you have to pay zakat or not?
Why you should recalculate?
لا. These opinions that you've mentioned, hold on to it for 1 second. They're good opinions. But go back to the matan. What does the matan say? ولا بقاء المال. ما يعنينا. Whether it's lost or not. Like, and there's another opinion.
But if you have only those 10,000,
طيب, 10,000, how much is zakat? How much zakat is payable? 2.5. What is 2.5 of 10,000? Huh? £250. Let's say you have £250 under your pillow at home. You've got enough to pay zakat. Huh? صح, لكن يقول the Martin says ولا بقى. لكن there's another opinion which you mentioned, جزاكم الله خيرا, which is that if it is lost or destroyed or stolen without any shortcoming from you, then you don't have to pay. If there's no shortcoming from your side. Lakin if there's a shortcoming from your side, مثلا, let's say £10,000 for example, and then you've got it in your coat and you leave it in the coat rack and then you go and make wudu. You come back, there's no coat, no £10,000. Khalas, there you have to pay zakah. Why? Because the shortcoming is from who? From you. The shortcoming is from you. Lakin if it is... طيب. طيب. The next مسألة. ونعم والزكاة كالدين في التركة. Who can explain that? والزكاة and zakah. كالدين is like a debt في التركة when it comes to leaving off, when it comes to tarika, where the tarika is the wealth that the person leaves behind. Tarika is the wealth that the person leaves behind. Let's say a person has 10 million. He dies and he leaves behind 10 million. 10 million is considered tarika. What does this mean? Was zakatu, zakat, kadaini is like a debt with regards to the debt and the zakat. Further.
The inheritors have to pay for it on your behalf.
Okay. صح. طيب.
You have to, when you have an inheritance, first you have to pay off his zakah, then you distribute the wealth.
Okay. You've gone to the second step. Like, explain the first step first. Kadaini, there's qiyas on it. Dain and tarika. What is the connection between dain, a debt, and tarika?
The way that dain is given from tarika, you have to, zakah is also given.
Naam. That is the meaning behind this sentence. Was zakatu and zakah. So you owe zakah. Let's say, for example, you owe 2 years of zakah. That 2 years of zakah is £500. You owe £500 of zakah. A person dies not paying that 500 zakah. What does he do? The Shaykh says that £500, that zakah, kadaini fi tarika, is like debt. Meaning what? If a person owes someone a debt and he dies and he leaves behind a lot of money, the very first thing that we start off with is mu'anu tajheez, yani his shrouding and the burial, the burial and so on. Right? But the second right is what? The dain. The second right is the dain, debts that you have. So you have to pay debt. So the Shaykh is saying zakah is like a debt because it is the debt of the fuqara and is the debt that Allah Jalla wa Ala made wajib upon you. That's what he means. طيب. Just so that you don't get confused later on. Sorry, you had a question earlier on as well, I forgot to ask.
What happens if you, just say you die, and you don't have the money to pay off your zakah? Can your family pay on your behalf?
The family can pay on your behalf, but if you don't have the money to pay the zakah and it was wajib upon you once upon a time, then they can pay on your behalf. طيب, where it says was zakatu kadaini fi tarika, write a ta'liq so that later on you don't get confused what it means. A means i.e. A man alayhi zakatun فإن الورثة يخرجونها قبل الوصية وقسمة التركة كالدين الآدمي طيب. And this means i.e. man alayhi zakah, whoever owes a zakah, his inheritors, his heirs, those people that are due to inherit him, they pay the zakah before the wasiyah, the will, before they fulfill his will. Let's say he says, for example, build a masjid on my behalf. We'll build the masjid on your behalf, but we have to pay the zakah that you owe first. وَقِسْمَةِ التَّرِكَةِ, and also before distributing the inheritance, we have to pay the zakah that he owes. كَالدَّيْنِ الْآدَمِي, like the debt that you owe an Adami, the humans. طيب. باب زكاة بهيمة الأنعام. The next chapter, the Shaykh rahimahullah is going to talk about the zakah of behemoth al-an'am. And there's 3 things that come under behemoth al-an'am: sheep, cattle, and ibil. And he says وتجب في إبل وبقر وغنم بالإجماع. Or بالإجماع, I said that, عفوا. وتجب is wajib upon ibil, camels, baqar, cattle, غنم بالإجماع. طيب. And the evidence for this is the hadith or the kitab that Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu wrote to those that were collecting zakah in Bahrain, where he started with Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, فريضة الصدقة التي فرض رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم على المسلمين والتي أمر الله بها رسوله فمن سئل من المسلمين. Up until the end of the hadith, he mentions the amount of ibil that is to be paid and the amount of sheep that is to be paid. طيب. So he says رحمه الله إذا كانت سائمة الحول أو أكثره. إذا كانت سائمة, if it is سائمة, if it grazes, ترعى, if it grazes. إذا كانت البهيمة سائمة meaning it goes out and it grazes out in the forest, out in the open. Al-hawla, for the year, or aktharahu, or the majority of the year. طيب. Sa'ima, where he says, is a qaid. يعني that means there's two types of baha'im. There's bahimatun sa'ima and bahimatun ma'lufa. Bahimatun sa'ima is the one that goes out and grazes, and there is no responsibility or no nothing that is wajib upon the owner to go and do. Meaning he doesn't provide feed for them. Rather they go out and graze freely. So they wake up and they're taken out from the place that they spend their night in, and then they go out and graze all day. The person doesn't have to provide them with water like this, or he doesn't have to provide them with grass, and so on and so forth. He doesn't have to pay for anything. That is the meaning of sa'ima. The next type is ma'lufa. Let's say, for example, there's a drought, and there's nothing, even if you send them out to graze, they won't find anything. You're going to have to go and pay money to get grass for them to eat, or trees for them to eat. And you're going to have to plant trees, or you're going to have to bring branches and things for them to eat, and so on. Or provide salt for them, or other types of food for them. That is called ma'lufa. طيب. For that, there's a different hukum. There's no zakah on that. لا ma'lufa. If you're the one that's providing. طيب. And the evidence for that is the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, في كل إبل سائمة. Every ibil that is sa'ima, يعني sa'ima, goes out and grazes. وفي صدقة, and also the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, وفي صدقة الغنم في سائمتها. And in the sadaqah of the ghanam, the sheep, في سائمتها, that goes out, that which goes out. طيب. That is the first condition. And the second condition is that it has to be one that is used. I don't think he mentions it here. Rahimahullah. It has to be something that is used to, for example, for benefiting from. مثلا, whether it's you're going to eat it or sell it and so on and so forth, or it's there to give birth for you, and then they multiply in number and so on. And this excludes the day-to-day ones that you use. The day-to-day ones that you use. The third condition is bulugh nisab. It has to reach the nisab. It has to reach the nisab. And the threshold. طيب. So when these three conditions are met, the sheep has its own threshold, the camels have their own threshold, and cattle have their own threshold. Is that understood? طيب. Then the Shaykh says, فَيَجِبُ, now he's going to go into the ansiba of ansibatul ibil. فَيَجِبُ, and this requires memorizing. There's a table, inshallah, that I'm going to send out, which is written in that way. So this is really more for memorizing. We're not going to spend a lot of time on it because obviously it's just for memorizing. في كل 25 من الإبل بنت مخاض. Okay. He hasn't started off with bint. طيب. He starts off with 25. Okay. فيجب في كل 25 من الإبل. every 25 ibil, the 25 ibil that you have, bintu makhad. Bintu makhad is a 1-year-old camel, is wajib. So if you have 25 camels, you pay 1 bintu makhad. Bintu makhad is a 1-year-old camel. 1-year-old she camel. Bintu makhad is 1-year-old she camel. And the evidence, the hadith of Abdillah ibn Abbas رضي الله عنه فإن لم يكن عنده بنت مخاض على وجهها وعنده ابن لبون. طيب 25 you have to pay one بنت مخاض 1-year-old. وفيما دونها لكن anything less than 25 في كل 5 شاة. Anything less than 25 camels, every 5 you have to pay what? Shat. Books of fuqaha are quite difficult to understand. In Manhaj al-Salikin is quite simple. It starts from, if you have 5 ibil, you pay 1 shat. Every 5 ibil you pay 1 shat until you get to 25. So let's start that way. If you have 5 sheep, if you have 5 camels, how much zakat do you pay? 1 sheep. Up until 25. Let's say you have 10. What do you pay? 15. 20. 20 camels, you pay what? 4 sheep. What about if you have 24? 4 sheep. Let's say you have 9 camels. 1 sheep. What is the in-between called? Waqs. From 6 to 9, that is called waqs. 6, 7, 8, 9. That's free time. Free play. You can do what you want. There's no zakah on that. That is called waqs. There's no zakah on that. When you get to 10, you start paying. طيب. Now you have 25. 24, how many zakah? How much is zakah? How much is zakah? 4. 25, bintu makhad, a 1-year-old camel. A 1-year-old she camel. وفي 36. طيب. So from 25 to 35, you pay how much? Bintu makhad. When you get to 36, you pay bintu labun. Bintu labun is a 2-year-old. Bintu labun is a 2-year-old. 2-year-old. ما تم لها سنتان. بنت لبون is ما تم لها سنتان. وفي 46, when you get to 46, you have حقة. حقة is ما تم لها 3 سنوات. 3 سنين. الحقة is the one that has, يعني these are types of camels. For every year they've got a different name. That's how rich the Arabic language is. Bintul Labun is a 2-year-old. Hiqqa is a what? 3-year-old. So if you've got 46, then you have what? 3-year-old camel. وفي 61, and when you get to 61, جذعة, a 4-year-old. When you get to 61, you get to what? جذعة, a 4-year-old. Is that understood? Inshallah, with the tables, you make it a lot easier. طيب. وفي 76, and when you get to 76, you pay binta labun as zakah. 2-year-old camels, she camels. وفي 91, and when you get to 91, حقتان, 2 3-year-old, 2 3-year-old camels. فإذا زادت عن 120 واحدة فثلاث بنت لبون. And if you get to 121, let's say you have 121 camels, you pay ثلاث بنات اللبون. ثلاث بنات اللبون. You pay 3 2-year-old camels. 3 2-year-old she camels. Is understood? Thumma, and then after that, thumma, when you get to there, right? Istiqrarul farida, on top of that. Istiqrarul farida means when you get to a certain amount where you don't look at individual numbers. وفي كل 40 بنت لبون. وفي كل نعم وفي كل. So this is the قاعدة. Every 40 you pay بنت لبون, a 2-year-old she camel. Every 40 that you have, you pay a 40-year-old camel. So once you get to 121, anything above that, you only need to count in 40s or 50s. So he says, وَفِي كُلِّ أَرْبَعِينَ. Every time you get to 40, you pay بنت لبون, 1 2-year-old camel. وَفِي كُلِّ 50, and in every 50, you pay what? A 3-year-old camel. 3-year-old she camel. It's confusing because we don't have camels. Like the mathematician side of it, if you look at it, 120, how many 40s in that? 121. 3 40s. So you pay what? Bintu labun. 3 bintu labun. 3 2-year-old camels. Let's say you have 140. How many 40s is that? 160. How many 40s? 4. So how would you pay? Is there any way of looking at it as well? How many 50s in that? 2 50s and what? 3 50s, huh? So you can pay what? 3 hiqqa. Let's say you end up with 160, you can also pay what? Bint labun, 4 bint labun.
If you pay the 3 50s, you're missing the 10.
Okay, so you're 160, sah? So 160, you have to pay 4 bint labun, 4 2-year-old cattle, camels. Let's say you get to 180. 180. Just look, how many 40s in there and how many 80s in there? 40, 80, 120. So far, how many? 3 bint labun, sir? 120, 160. What do I have to pay? How many is that? 4. Take it away, lakin. Go to, مثلا 180. So you have to pay. Hiqqa is what? 3-year-old, sah? Because there's 2 50s in there. 2 50s in 180. La. 2 50s and 2 40s. How? 180. If we have 180, we have 150, which is complete. We have another 50, which is complete, sah? So we have hiqqa. But then with the 80, if we say we're going to split it into 50-50, it's not possible. So we're going to have to end up with 40 and 40. So hiqqatan binta labun. Another figure, 190. How many 40s and how many 50s in that? 3 50s, meaning 3 hiqqas and 140, which is bint labun. Bint labun. 200. 4 50s, that's how many? 3 hiqqas. Any other way? 5 40s as well. So how many? 5 binta or banat labun. Whichever one, that's up to you. Is that understood? Inshallah, in the jadwal, you'll understand when I send the jadwal out. The Shaykh says, rahimahullah, faslun fi zakat al-baqar, inshallah, we're going to see next lesson. We've only got a few minutes, to Maghrib. خلاص إن شاء الله we'll stop on بقرة.
وقل رب زدني علما.